here is CNN. Here's their take on what went down.
I'm already pissed off. I already can feel myself.
You heard he was repeatedly interrupted by some cringeworthy heckling.
Oh my God.
We're both sitting here pretty stunned, frankly. This is supposed to be a press conference with a room of journalists. Those were activists who were interrupting the Secretary of State.
Are they activists or are they journalists? Because they're actually well-known activists. Sam Husseini and Max Blumenthal. I'm sorry, well-known journalists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he initially was thanking the press and talking about the Israeli-Hamas deal.
Yeah, I think it's really surprising. A lot of our viewers will have seen protests on Capitol Hill, for example, during confirmation hearings, but it's very rare for something like that to happen at the State Department. I'm over there all the time in that briefing room, and you need to have a reason to be at the State Department. You need to have an appointment. You need to have press accreditation to come and go. So it's
what are they talking about? Press he's been there every week.
Yeah, he's been there forever. They should recognize him. I mean, the fact that the guy is pretending that he doesn't recognize him is kind of weird. But beyond that, he's like, I'm there all the time, and I sit there and do exactly as I'm told, and never ask a question out of line. Never ask a question that Tony Blinken, the butcher of Gaza, doesn't want to answer. You know, doing the things like my job. No, can't do that.
It's just so sad to see journalists doing journalism. That's just not what we're about here at CNN. Watch me furrow my brow.
The two of them are so disgusted. They called it cringeworthy that these two would dare ask questions. It's not like they threw a shoe at him like that journalist did at Bush, which I'd be supportive of. But
yeah,
they literally asked questions in a press briefing.
Unclear who those people were. So who those people were. So I think there's a real security question there. Allow me to.
Wow. What a piece of shit.
This is a testament to American democracy and the way that American administrations approach their press rooms.
Is it a testament to as we physically yank this guy out of the room? It's a testament to how free of a press we have?
Dude, I knew this would piss me off, dude. Oh my God. It's unbelievable.
This couldn't be less of a testament to freedom of press or democracy or any of those things.
Dragging out a journalist for asking questions.
That American administrations approach their press rooms. They give accreditation to a wide number of journalists, and increasingly what I would call less mainstream journalists, more opinion journalists, who have the opportunity to go to the State Department, to go to the White House, and to ask questions of the representatives.
No, they don't. They're getting dragged. What do you mean have the opportunity? They're getting arrested for asking the questions. Like Sam Husseini getting dragged out by 3 security guards saying you're hurting me. While this asshole on CNN says this shows what a free press we have, how anybody can ask questions of our officials. It really does. It's a testament to how free our press is.
It's really a perfect example of like manufacturing consent 101, right? Like to have access, to be a journalist, to have access in these rooms, you have to play ball. And playing ball means not asking certain questions. And if you do ask certain questions, this is what happens.
Of that administration. So I'm always amazed by whenever I go to these different press rooms about who's actually sitting there. It's not just Americans, it's people from all over the world, from Turkey, from China, from South Korea,
from Turkey, from China, from South Korea. If you sit there quietly and ask the right kind of questions, and by the way, Sam Husseini, this is the first time he was dragged out, I think, but he used to ask questions and they would call on him, but they realized they didn't really like the type of questions he was asking. So they basically stopped calling on him. I think when I interviewed him recently, he said it'd been like a year since they'd called on him. So they don't actually let him ask questions. And then when he asks questions without being called on, they drag him out of the room. So this guy is full of absolute tips of turds. And he also mentioned China, which I don't think CGTN, he says reporters from China, I don't think they're allowed in the press briefings anymore because there was the whole thing back in 2016, which they also did to RT, where they made, for the first time ever, media organizations register as foreign agents, even though they're just media, which is not what the foreign agent thing was supposed to do. It was supposed to be against lobbyists, not against media. So I actually don't think CGTN is allowed in those rooms anymore, nor is RT.
Yeah.
Get to ask questions of people like Matt Miller at the State Department or Karine Jean-Pierre at the White House. And so there's a relatively open policy for now.
Does this look like an open policy, Joffer?
This is absurd. I mean, this is hilarious. If it wasn't so, like, if I were like seething with rage right now, I would be laughing.